As the baby was born, Eni saw for a brief moment a light emanating from Otachi's eyes. Otachi's face in that brief moment changed into something terrifying, and Ene immediately realized the reason for her mother's warning in the dream. Once upon a time, there lived a popular man in a village named Otachi. Otachi was a doctor whose knowledge of medicine and childbirth was unmatched. His hands were believed to hold the power of life and death, as Otachi not only helped bring children into the world, but also known for bringing several children back to life. A few years ago, a certain woman went into labor. After hours of painful struggle, her baby was born dead. Otachi helped the baby up in the air for a few minutes, and miraculously, the baby let out a loud cry. The woman was overjoyed and told everyone that Otachi had brought her baby back to life. The entire village was in surprise, and Otachi became the most sought after doctor in the village. All the women went to Otachi for childbirth, believing that they were in safe hand. As the years went by, the children Otachi had delivered grew up closer to him and spent much time at his clinic. The villagers began calling them Otachi's children. Everyone wanted an Otachi child in their home because these children grew up intelligent and strong. Known for their wisdom and strength at a very young age, the marvels of the Otache children became a source of pride for the village, and soon people from neighboring villages brought their pregnant women to Otache in hope that their children would receive the blessing of his touch. One day, a woman named Eni, who was expecting her first child after 6 years of marriage, had a dream in which her late mother appeared to her. Her mother warned her not to let Otachi near her child, telling her that Otachi bound those he helped to his dark will. Enen's mother warned her to use another doctor instead. Ene wake up confused, wondering why her mother would warn her about Otachi. She had always dreamed of having an Otachi child and could not imagine letting anyone stand in the way of that. Otachi's reputation in the village overshadowed her doubts, as the villagers called him as both a doctor and a savior of children. When the time came for Ene to give birth, she entrusted her delivering to Otachi because of his impeccable track record. As Ene labored, she noticed Otachi muttering strange words under his breath, odd chants that seems to wake her. As the baby was born, Ene saw the light shine from Otachi's eyes, his face morphing into something frightening. And at that moment, Ene realized why her mother had always warned her in the dream. With what little strength she had left, Ene screamed for Otachi not to harm her child. Realizing that Ene had seen his true self, Otachi tried to strike her. But at that moment, Ene's sister walked into the room and caught sight of him. Otachi quickly dropped the baby and hurried out of the hut. Ene's sister was shocked and asked what had happened. Though weak, Ene explained that Otachi had done something evil to her child. News of the incident spread quickly throughout the village. The people were shaken and gathered to discuss the shocking revelation. A sense of unease gripped the entire community, especially mothers who had entrusted their babies to Otachi. They rushed to his clinic but found it empty. Otachi had disappeared. The villagers searched high and low for him, but no one found his trace. They consulted a powerful seer who revealed that Otachi was a dangerous sorcerer disguised as a doctor. He had been using his position to gain access to newborns, binding them to his evil covenants by altering their destinies. The seer also warned that all the children born through Otachi's hand were now part of his covenants. Witches and wizards who caused havoc in the village at night. Fear swept through the village as the parents worried about what might happen to their children. The seer explained that the only way to break the spell was to find Otachi before the next full moon and force him to revise the charm. The villagers immediately set out in search of Otachi, combining the forest and the neighboring village, but to no avail. As the full moon drew near, panic spread among the villagers. Ene, whose baby was the last child Otache had touched, cried out. She prayed for her late mother's help, asking for her forgiveness for not listening to her. That night, her mother appeared to her in a dream once more, revealing Otachi's hiding place in a secret cave at the edge of the forest. Ene informed the village, and they set out for the cave. After a long journey, they reached its entrance, filled with fear but united in purpose. Inside the cave, they found Otachi sitting cross-legged. He turned to face them, claiming he had been expecting them. Ene stepped forward and demanded to know how to break the spell. Otachi refused, knowing the full moon was only hours away. But Ene, remembering her mother's advice, held up a mirror to Otachi. He screamed in terror, for he despised mirror. With the mirror, Ene forced Otachi to reveal the secret. He gave her a strange-looking stick, telling her that if the villagers burn it in the center of the village, the spell will be broken and their children will be free. Without delay, the villagers returned to the village square and Ene set the stick on fire. As it was burned, the spell on the children was lifted and they were free from Otachi's evil influence. The entire village rejoiced, thanking Ene for his bravery and wisdom. Otachi was later captured and stripped of his power, locked away in the village dungeon, ensuring that he could no longer harm anyone. The lesson of this story is clear. No evil deeds remain hidden forever. Sooner or later, the truth must come to light. We must live in peace with others and be conscious of blindly following the crowd. Listen to those who cares for you and beware of who seems to help but harbor dark intentions.